Hello, this is Bob Joyner, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about trading the SPY options. I'm going to cover 4 different topics in this video: why I trade the SPY options, the importance of contextual trading, support and resistance, and conditional colored candles. Let's go ahead and go over each one by one here. So why trade the SPY options, and why are SPY options so popular? You've probably seen a lot of videos either on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever about trading the SPY options, so you probably already know a thing or two. But why is it so popular, and why are people so interested in it? Here are a couple of reasons off the top of my head. It allows you to focus on one thing instead of looking at a variety of, say, 20 or 30 stocks for that day if you're a day trader or a swing trader, either way. Then the SPY allows you to focus just on one chart. And with that focus and the lack of distraction going on, you're probably going to do better, actually. High volume. SPY, of course, has millions of shares traded each day, and the options also have huge volume. So there's never a problem with getting in or out of the trade. You can trade it long, you can trade it short. Availability for trading the options as either puts or calls is available. High leverage. That means you can use a small amount of money to possibly make a larger amount of money. Low cost, which means you can get in a trade, for example, for less than $1,000. You can actually get into an options trade for a couple $100. Take that trade as a day trade. It has very low cost to it. Day trading. You can day trade the SPY options, so you don't have to hold anything overnight. You don't have to worry about what's going to happen, right? You can just simply move in and out. Some people scalp the day trade options. Some people look for larger swings like 5, 25% gains, that sort of thing. And then small accounts. One of the great things about trading the SPY options is you can actually start with a small cash account and still day trade that, and you're not subject to a lot of the day trading rules that apply to trading equities. So those are a couple of the reasons why people are interested in it. It has a lot of value, obviously, and a lot of potential. Contextual trading. What I mean by that is some people say, oh, you're going to swing trade, you're going to day trade, and so the light bulb goes off when you think about, so how about day trading the SPY options within the context of the swing trading charts? So let me explain what I mean by that. So this is a 4-hour 30-minute view here of the SPY, and on the left side of that panel there is the 4-hour chart, and the 30-minute chart is on the right side. So if you see the context there, when you see all these red candles in that context, your best bet for that day of trading is obviously going to be short. If you see green candles on both the 4-hour chart and the 30-minute chart, well, then when you drill down to the 5-minute and the 1-minute chart, for example, on this trade, this view here, then it becomes much more obvious that, well, yeah, trading long is probably going to be your best bet rather than trading short. So contextual trading simply means that you're going to day trade within the context of a swing trade chart. You're going to use the day trade charts, but you're going to day trade within the context of what that larger momentum is. So that adds another layer of probability to help you make successful trades. Before I get too further in this presentation, just so you know, I have a program available, Trading Live, theafternoonspy.com. You can go to it later after you watch this video and check it out. This is a quick 2-minute video there. Support and resistance, the third topic I wanted to cover briefly today. And support and resistance on the pivot, you can look at pivot points. You can look at recent price action. You can look at historical support and resistance. All those things matter. You cannot trade the SPY, I don't think anyway, without being able to view the areas of support and resistance, drawing out the blocks, see what the probabilities are. Again, adding another layer of probability to your success as a trader. So some examples of recent historical support. For example, this is a fairly recent chart of the SPY, and you can see, like in this green box down in here in the bottom, where price kept finding support, bouncing off that area. There were a couple of reasons why support happened at that, but you can draw it out as a green block, and then when you see price moving up and bouncing off that area of support, then obviously, and you're also trading within the context of the market trend, then obviously your probabilities for success are much higher. The other thing, the fourth thing I mentioned to you, and you may not have heard of these before, but these are called conditional colored candles. So for example, on the chart in the middle of that page there, you'll see a lot of green candles. So those green candles represent different variables that I have baked into the pie, baked into the candle color, so to speak. So there's 6 different gradations of green, 6 different gradations of red. Dark green in this example means high momentum price action. Okay, so without even looking at a whole bunch of indicators, we can just simply look at the colors, which have all these indicators and systems built into the colors, and we can just simply focus on the colors that are trading there and have a high probability of success. In this example here, you can barely make it out on the chart probably, but you have this entry of 138 on the call option of the SPY, and you take it up to 160 because there's an area of resistance up in there. So that's just a real simple example there. So what's the potential? So here's the chart. I could show you all kinds of charts showing the potential of trading the SPY options as day trades. In this example, you've got an entry at 134 as we qualify as a long down here inside the yellow circle, and then you can just take partial exits and movable stops as long as it's qualified. And I highly encourage people to take partial exits, movable stops, because you don't know how far it's going to go. You can scalp and just get a 2 or 3% gain there, but the other option is just to stay in the trade as long as you can, and at least on part of the trade you could have potentially had a 65% return on your investment within just less than an hour that afternoon. Another example would be a 30% ROI in 15 minutes as we come from this 150 put entry down to 195, and you see those dark green candles, right? If you're only interested in the conditional colored candles, I've got a video about that. It's called TC2000 Is It Worth It? I'll put a link in the description below this video if you want to check that out. But also, if you are interested in the afternoon SPY that I've been talking about, then what you can do is you can go to the afternoonspy.com. There's also a link, but again, in the description below this video. Watch a 2-minute video where I give an overview of it, and then if you're interested, you can sign up to watch a 40-minute pre-recorded webinar that I did, high value, give example after example of what I'm talking about in this short YouTube video here. So if you're interested, theafternoonspy.com. Hope to see you. Please subscribe to the channel. Appreciate your comments and your support.